What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Sector for Nerds, and welcome back to another episode of Star Wars The Clone Wars Retro Discussions. Today we are going to be talking about Season 4, Episode 19, Massacre. But I didn't come alone today, you guys. Please welcome back to the channel, Orcaz.
Yo, what's up, guys?
How you doing?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. I'm excited to talk about this one.
This episode was directed by Stuart Lee, written by Katie Lucas. Cookie for this episode: one must let go of the past to hold on to the future. Now, before we begin, you guys, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with others to help support the channel. We got plenty of great content every single week here, you guys. Like right now, every Monday, we're doing the Clone Wars discussions. I'm trying to map out in my head when this video is going to go out. I think by the time this goes out, we'll probably be in the middle of the Andor discussions every Wednesday or every Thursday, depending on when I can get them out. But yeah, hopefully you guys are staying tuned. There's plenty of great content here every single week, so you guys definitely don't want to miss out on any of it. Now, without any further ado, intro guy, let us know what's going down in this episode. Sinister forces on the move. Asajj Ventress has suffered a humiliating betrayal at the hands of her own assassin, Savage Opress. Having gone into hiding, she now has no choice but to seek sanctuary with the Nightsisters of Dathomir. Thank you, intro guy. Now, Orcaz, I don't know about you, man, but like, I think you do know because you volunteered yourself to come and talk about this episode with me, but this is such an incredible episode of the series. These next 4 episodes, like, one of the things I written down here in my notes that I was going to say that I was just thinking about last night while I was watching this episode, like, you hear people say, like, all the time in life, like, I didn't know what the term love meant until like I found my significant other, right? Like, husband, wife, spouse, whatever. I feel like when it comes to these 4 episodes, I didn't know what it meant to love Star Wars until I saw these episodes, because these are just so damn good.
Yeah, man, they're so good. I mean, like season 3 gets really good, but I think season 4 is like where the peak of the Clone Wars really starts to happen. And these episodes, they're definitely the catalysts.
For sure. One of the things about these episodes is these last 4 episodes to me, like, they are an arc. I know some people look at it as like, oh, well, it's the first 2 episodes. That's like a 2-parter thing. And then the last 2 episodes are a completely different thing. Like, no, to me, it's all one arc. And I know people say like, oh, this arc is ultimately about Darth Maul. But I would also argue that a person that plays just as big of a role in this arc, if not even more, especially given these first 2 episodes, is Asajj Ventress.
Yeah, because she appears in the first 2 episodes of this so-called arc, and then she appears in the last one too. So actually, she also appears in episode 21 as well. Like
as like a small cameo. Yeah,
talking about Savage.
The other thing I was going to point out about this episode is I had been waiting since that crystal ball at the halfway point through season 3. I had just been waiting for this arc, like, so much. So through all of season 4, and I love season 4. Season 4 is one of my favorite seasons of the Clone Wars. I just remember like growing up watching this, like, yeah, I was enjoying these arcs, but I was waiting. I was like low-key just waiting for these episodes. And so when we finally got them, absolutely incredible. So I will now get us into this episode here, you guys. So this episode starts out with Ventress arriving on Dathomir. And there's kind of been like this implication between what intro guy said and also what Ventress says in a little bit, some other Talzin, but some time has definitely passed since Ventress got defeated by Dooku. She said that she was in hiding. She was kind of reevaluating her situation, and then kind of goes into talking about how like Savage betrayed them and all this stuff. And just remember, Savage went to Talzin to say the exact same thing about Ventress. So it's kind of funny, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's just how freaking evil people work. It's all like, oh, it's all their fault. Yeah. No, it's all their fault. It's not my fault.
It's funny. I don't know about you, dude, but I've been in situations before with friends where like someone will come to me saying one story and then another person will come to me saying another story. And it's like, all right, so I kind of just, there's a bit of drama here and we got, both sides of the spectrum. That's kind of what I got out of Mother Talzin here.
And Mother Talzin's just like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure, whatever. All right, yeah, let's you go your way, you go your way. Let's all just be happy and just move on with our lives. Which actually is not too far off from what she says, because she's like, "Look,
Yeah.
you got to give up the ways of the Sith and join us. Just leave Dooku's war behind. You're going to remain loyal to no one except your sisters and yourself. You'll become a true Night Sister." Yeah, I was like, you know what? I think this is a good fit for Ventress, right? Like, she just leave all the nonsense behind. I was talking about last season how it's like, all right, I'm not really so much rooting for Ventress as much as I am just rooting for Dooku to lose. Like, I don't really care about Ventress taking over the galaxy or anything like that. It's like, all right, Ventress has just got to find her own spot in the galaxy, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's nice that she actually joined the Night Sisters, because after, when we heard about her story in the Night Sisters arc, how she was, taken from Mother Talzin by, like, I think a slave owner, like, she
something like that.
And then Kai Narek found her, so it's like, yeah, and so then she finally returns to the Night Sisters after so long, and then now she's officially becoming like a true Night Sister. So
yes. So then we go to Sereno. First of all, there's a massive fleet assembled over that planet, which I guess makes sense if it's Dooku's home world, but my goodness, I don't think they needed that many ships. We get Grievous, been a minute since we've seen him, so it's like, all right, we got Grievous here, and Dooku says, the time has come at last to take revenge on Asajj Ventress, on Mother Talzin. You're going to go to Dathomir and wipe the Night Sisters out. Don't worry, their illusions don't frighten me. Oh, they will count. They will. Just give it about 20 minutes. But yeah, do you want to take us through the baptism scene with Talzin and Ventress?
Yeah, so I was watching that. It's so interesting to me because I'm a Christian and I've been baptized before. It's almost like almost the exact same thing where you're like pledging yourself to God and stuff, putting your trust in him. And it's kind of like the same thing with Ventress here, where she's giving up everything in her life. She is pledging herself to the Night Sisters and remaining loyal and trusting them for everything. So I thought that was a pretty cool thing. I don't know if that's what they were going for, but they literally say baptism in the
they do. Yeah,
in the scene. So it's like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think there could definitely be some ties to Christianity in there as well. And I don't know if I've ever said this on my channel, but yeah, I'm also a Christian, and that. So yeah, I think I could definitely see some comparisons there between the two. And yeah, I think the word choicing of the word baptism is also very interesting. Now, I'm sure there's also other religions who I'm sure do something similar, but yeah, I think the word choice there was definitely a curious one for sure.
They're using all their magic and stuff. I don't really know exactly what they were doing with her. What exactly were they using all that magic for? Couldn't she just become a Night Sister based off that? I don't know what they were really using the magic for. You see her eyes roll back and
yeah,
maybe that's symbolism for being transformed or something, but yeah.
Yeah, at first I thought they were I thought she was going to be under some kind of hypnosis sort of thing. I thought she was being controlled or something. I mean, that clearly wasn't what happened, but yeah, I was definitely kind of confused by that myself. Mm-hmm. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, definitely an interesting moment, but I can see what they're maybe trying to go for there.
That's right. Something I was actually going to bring up before too, when it comes to these 4 episodes, if we just go on a small tangent for a second, there's a DVD out there, back in the day when they would release all the stuff on DVDs. They had a DVD of these 4 episodes, and that was it. And I don't know if you've seen this before, but when you watch through it, it almost feels like a movie, because the way that they structure it is they don't have the intro and outros to every episode. It's just one episode flows into the next. And if you watch through it, they start out with the scene in the 3rd episode where Savage is in that cantina beating everybody up. And then they get Anakin and Ahsoka going in there. I'll have to show you this later if I remember to. And Ahsoka, Anakin and Ahsoka, they're sensing the presence of Savage or whatever, or Maul. And then they go into the Massacre episode. And then after the Massacre episode is the rest of that 3rd episode where Savage goes to find Maul. And then it's the Ventress bounty hunter mission. And then after that is the one with Maul's resurrection. I don't know if you've seen that before.
I have not seen that. I wonder if that's done on purpose.
Yeah.
happening at the same time this is all going on, or is
That's what I was thinking too, because if you go on their website and look for their episode order, the episodes are ordered in the way that they're released, but yet in this DVD, it's structured differently. I'll have to show you this sometime. Now that I've got that on my mind, I'll have to, I think I still have it. I'll have to show you. So going off the tangent and back into the episode. So we get them kind of having a little bit of a party for Ventress. The party is unfortunately short-lived because incoming droid fighters, we got the hyena bombers in there too. Talzin's just like, all right, we got to prepare, sisters. The war's come to Dathomir. After they just got done saying, leave the war behind, in comes the Separatist army.
Well, I guess you're not really leaving the war behind now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that ain't happening. So then Ventress is like, man, the droid army's only here because of me. So many people are going to die. Talzin's just like, we can't focus on the regret, any of that. We just got to focus on fighting. And then not long after, Karis, who we see join Ventress in the last season, if you remember, on the mission with Dooku. And then she's also sitting there during the campfire with Ventress being like, I'm privileged to be your sister. She ends up getting taken out by a statue, and it's like, man, this ain't gonna be good.
The first battle entrance was so good. I want to talk about Grievous as well.
Sure.
About Grievous later, but hey, bro had a really good strategy for fighting off the Nightsisters and winning. Like they won, and he had a really good freaking plan to beat them, and he did so. But yeah, Mother Talzin, she just shows up. I find this so funny. She shows up for 1 second, freaking puts a magic force field bubble with her, and then just starts shooting laser lightning out of her. It looks like she's using aimbot for a video game or something.
Sure.
All of those, just absolutely annihilating those battle droids. Ventress shows up, is like, yeah, we're gonna need more reinforcements. We need a whole army to fight these people because they don't have enough Nightsisters to fight this battle. So then Talzin has to leave, and that's the only time we see her fighting in the battle.
Yeah, it's that one moment where she gets to shine. Going off of your Grievous point for just a second, I do find it funny. I was watching the behind the scenes for this episode, and one of the things that Sam Witwer said about it, because he was involved with the behind the scenes for this episode, and he just said, I'm so glad Grievous actually got a win here, because it feels very rare that we see that in Clone Wars.
That's what I was thinking. It's hey, the Clone Wars, they want to show the good guys winning a lot. So plot armors for the good guys. So Grievous can't really win all that much. But we know that Grievous does win a lot of battles in the Clone Wars. Obviously 2003 Clone Wars, we know that's not really canon. But in some way, I'm pretty sure the Battle of Hypori is canon, and he won that battle. If you read on the lore of Grievous, he wins a lot of other battles as well. So it's not like the Republic is always winning against Grievous. No, he wins battles. So to see that here, it makes sense.
I know there's a lot of people, especially fans of the Micro series, that really don't like what they did with Grievous or Ventress in this show, because they feel like they were both much more badass characters in the Micro series. And I'm not here to say that you're wrong, and I'm not here to say that you're wrong feeling the way that you do. And in a lot of ways, I agree. What I will say about Ventress is I think that this journey that she takes through season 4, I don't think I would have cared about Ventress as much as a character without these 4 episodes. If you go back to season 3 even, yes, I was rooting for Ventress, but it wasn't so much oh, I'm rooting for you to succeed. It was more just well, I just want Dooku to lose because I don't like Dooku. This episode right here is the start of me going, no, not only am I rooting for you, not so the other side can lose, I'm rooting for you because I genuinely have interest in your arc here, and I genuinely have interest in where you're going as a character, and I want to see you fulfill that. So this for me was the first time where I really felt that level of dedication to Ventress's character, in my opinion anyway.
Yeah, I think this episode is really towards the start where you actually start to care about Ventress, because she's a pure villain in the earlier seasons. You don't want to see her win, but now you start to see more of her personality, how she's kind of changing, how she starts caring more for people like her family and stuff. So yeah.
And the next episode especially as well, which is one of my favorite Clone Wars episodes ever, is another one where Ventress just Oh my gosh, yeah, one of the reasons why I really enjoyed her character so much. So moving into the episode, like we get these incredible battle scenes with Ventress taking out the droids. We see the Night Sisters like they're climbing up trees with their bow and arrows, just sniping droids left and right. It's so cool. I love the one shot of her, like she takes down 2 battle droids and then they just pan the camera around as like super battle droids surround her and then she starts to take them out. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah, the cinematography for the fight scenes was amazing for this episode. It's why I love this episode so much. It's a 10 out of 10 is because the action and the fight scenes, just amazing stuff.
So take us through the scene where we see a familiar weapon brought back from season 1 in the defoliator tank.
Dude, that was when I was rewatching this episode. I was like, because I've watched this episode like countless times. I don't how many times I've watched this episode, but whenever I see the defoliator tanks, I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so cool. They brought it back from season 1 and this is the only other time they use it ever. And it makes sense that they use it for Dathomir's because Dathomir is like it's almost like a rainforest planet where there's like a lot of forests and like grass and stuff. So using the defoliator tanks in this battle makes a lot of sense.
And for those who forget as well, this was a tank that was introduced in season 1 during the arc where Anakin, Ahsoka, Aayla Secura, they all get trapped in like on this one planet where there's like this village. And the whole thing behind this tank is it's meant to destroy living things like plants and trees and living creatures, but droids don't get harmed. So, one of the things that Grievous said early on that kind of foreshadows the defoliator tank coming back is he says, we're going to burn a path through the forest right to their fortress. And I think at that point, I feel like some of us could have probably seen it coming, but I sure as heck didn't.
Dude, if they use the freaking defoliator tanks with more battles, maybe they did, which, maybe they just didn't show them, but like maybe they used them in more battles. I could imagine maybe they could have used them on like Felucia or something. That would be pretty interesting to introduce to canon. Maybe the reason why the Battle of Felucia is so hard was so like grueling is because they had all this technology and bringing the defoliator tanks. That would be something.
Talzin speaks with old Daka, I believe her name is, and she's like, Ventress is going to need the aid of the undead army to achieve victory. And she talks about, old Daka talks about the chant of resurrection. And I remember as a kid, I'm like, I slowly pieced together what they were doing, but it wasn't until it was too late. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there's zombies here. I'm like, oh, this is freaky.
Yeah, that was wild. And yeah, she starts using like those chants and stuff to bring them back. I was like, yo, this is like actual like witch magic and stuff. This is cool.
Obviously, for newer fans of Star Wars, will remember from the Ahsoka series, the chant of resurrection was used there to revive all of the stormtroopers, and then even the Night Sister pledge that we talked about a little bit earlier with the baptism, that was also used in the Ahsoka series as well. I mean, I guess it helps that it's all kind of made by the same person, but obviously the tie-ins there are pretty cool. There really ain't much they can do right now except run around and try to avoid getting hit by this tank it's basically a nuclear bomb, right? It's maybe like a smaller version of it, but it takes out everything, right? So they're just trying to try to avoid this tank thing. Eventually the zombies come into play, which is really cool. And we start to see them, taking out the battle droids and stuff. And they kind of act as Ventress's cover. She kind of runs in behind them and she, kind of uses them as her shields to get up on top of one of the Separatist tanks. I forget what they're called.
Okay, I'm pretty sure they're called AATs.
She gets in the gunner spot and turns the gun over and takes out the tank with the defoliator on it. And she goes, the undead is going to clear us a path right to Grievous. And for those who remember as well, in Jedi Fallen Order, you get to go up against some of those undead Night Sisters as well when you're playing through that game. It's actually interesting now that we're talking about it right now, like how many things spawned from this episode, right? Yeah. Like the baptism, the Night Sisters, the defoliator tank, the zombies, like a lot of it.
Yeah, and you hear about Grievous in Fallen Order as well. Marin, I'm pretty sure. She
yes.
This like ironclad warrior, and she thought she I'm pretty sure she thought he was like a Jedi or something because he had, blue and green lightsabers. So she thought Grievous was a Jedi, and I'm pretty sure that's why she was like so untrusting of Cal at first.
Yes.
So,
yeah, that's exactly why she didn't trust Cal, because she, sees the lightsaber and he's like, yeah, an armored warrior that held one of these cut down half my people with this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they made a whole episode kind of dedicated to it as well in Tales of the Empire with what's her name? Morgan Elsbeth.
Yeah.
Yes, Morgan Elsbeth. They made like an episode kind of dedicated to that as well. So this is really, I feel like, a crucial moment in the history of Star Wars. I feel like this is, I mean, I know the Jedi, like Order 66, an entire race of people gets wiped out, but arguably the same thing happens here. Like all the Nightsisters get, the spoiler alert for those who haven't seen the episode, but they all get killed.
Yeah, and I mean, even in Rebels too, later when we get with, Maul and they go to Dathomir and stuff, that, the repercussions of the battle still reigns in, what we see in Rebels. So,
dude, for real. Yeah, that's good shout there, dude. Yeah, you're exactly right.
Once Talzin, she gets old Daka to do the chant of the undead army, she's like, all right, great, now I can deal with Dooku. So she tells two Nightsisters to get like a silver sphere. They bring it to her. She like opens it and there's like a lock of Dooku's hair. She's like, oh, he should have been more careful when dealing with witches. So she throws the hair in the cauldron. She gets like a cauldron, heats it up and stuff as well. She throws the hair in the cauldron, and out of the cauldron, once she does that, comes like a wax figure of Dooku. And then she just starts going crazy. She holds the freaking voodoo doll over the cauldron. Dooku's like in his palace, he's like studying like battle scenes or whatever, and then he's like, oh, what's happening? And he starts seeing oils on his head. He starts freaking reacting in pain. He's just like, Talzin.
I'm just going to say this as well. I would not, as much as I don't like Dooku, I would not wish this upon any of my enemies. Like, what a gruesome death, man. Like, oh my gosh, he just looked like he was in so much pain. Ventress is, leading the attack or whatever, and they're plowing through these droids pretty good. Ventress just starts walking on top of them, which I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah. She starts just freaking running on all their heads, and they're like, oh, what's going on?
Yeah. I think the only one that she cuts up is one of them that's on the tank, and then she just jumps over a pile of them to get right to where Grievous is. And, they have like this stare off, and Ventress, starting to showboat, right? Like surprised. And Grievous is like, nah, hardly. You're the one I was sent here for. And then Ventress lays out the ultimatum of, all right, fight me alone, prove you're the better warrior. If I win, your army leaves. If you win, the Nightsisters will surrender to you. And so then we get Ventress versus Grievous, really like this dream matchup that not sure if we ever thought we'd see, and we're getting it here, which is cool.
Yeah, that's a pretty sick matchup. Both of them were separatists, like really big separatist leaders. I wonder, I feel like the creators, they kind of did that as fan service, because I feel like they were thinking a lot of fans would be like, yo, what, it'd be so cool if Grievous and Ventress like fought. And then they're like, okay, well, let's put that in this episode then. Yeah,
for real, dude, for real. And Ventress ends up getting the better of Grievous in that battle. So Grievous once again losing in this moment, but it's not Grievous kind of orders all his droids to open fire at her, so it kind of breaks off the moment there. But then we start getting the Nightsisters attacking again. Ventress gets shot, and it looks then like Grievous is about to kill her, but then a bunch of the zombie Nightsisters just pile on top of Grievous, and he's just sitting there trying to cut them all up. It's actually really cool.
It was interesting because like a lot of people are like mad that Grievous lost that fight because they think like he should be more powerful than Ventress. Honestly, I don't see it that way. Like Ventress was very powerful, like so much of a threat that Sidious had to cast her out. She was able to take on Anakin and Obi-Wan at the same time. There's no way I could see Grievous doing that. No way.
Yeah, I mean, this version of Grievous, maybe not, but yeah, I think, no, I definitely understand like Ventress winning it as well, and that wasn't something that ever really disappointed me either. One of her sisters tries to get her out of there, but then she gets shot and says like, doom is upon us, sister, run, save yourself. And then very curiously, Ventress just runs. Like that part did kind of surprise me a little bit.
Yeah, I think, I feel like they knew they were she knew like they were losing. Maybe she could sense that they were going to lose after all that happened. Like she gets injured. Like the Nightsisters needed her to win that battle, maybe.
Right.
Once she gets shot, she can't really do much. So I think she knew that they were going to lose.
Well, and now that Grievous entered the battle too, it's like she goes out, Grievous goes in. Yeah, the tide kind of shifts from that point.
Yeah,
for sure.
She would have. I think she knew she would have died as well. Like she's injured. If she continued to fight that battle, Grievous probably would have killed her because she was injured. So
probably. So then Dooku contacts Grievous, and Grievous probably sitting there like, "Dude, Master, you okay there, man? What's going on there?" Like he's just like sitting there like crawling on the floor, like, "You must stop Mother Talzin before she kills me."
Yeah, Dooku was going through it, and this was like after she like freaking just tossed the doll back into
the fire or whatever that was, the mist or whatever. Yeah,
she was just holding his doll over the fire and making him get those boils, but she just throws his doll into the cauldron. I don't know how that doesn't kill him. I don't know how that works, but
I always cringe at the part where like she takes like whatever that needle is like right to his head, and they cut to Dooku like as it's happening to him, like, oh, this is gonna be bad. I'm like, oh no.
Again, I don't know how that didn't kill him. I don't know how works, but hey,
yeah,
freaking sticking a freaking nail through his head. Okay.
Oh, no way, man. Oh man, just like thinking about it just makes it feel weird. Yeah, but then Grievous, he starts marching through the, the battlefield, getting to the Nightsister Palace. The Nightsisters are still kind of putting up a fight, but it's kind of short-lived as Grievous starts cutting them down. He makes his way to where the mist is coming from. There's a commando droid with a rocket launcher, blows up the tunnel entrance, or the wall that's barricading it. Grievous marches in there. He kills old Daka, and then at that point, all of the zombies fall because she's the one that's obviously brought them back to life. She dies. They all go away, and all the Nightsisters at that point, they're just kind of surrounded. And instead of taking prisoners, the droids just wipe them all out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all the Nightsisters massacred, and the only two Nightsisters we know survived. Well, besides Ventress was only Marin from the Jedi games, and then Morgan. So
yeah, so basically like those three, and then whatever's going on with Talzin too, because like Talzin like freaking disappears, like sort of Obi-Wan Kenobi style a little bit in A New Hope, and I was kind of like, all right, what's going on here? And then the next time that we see her, she's like this weird, like, I don't want to say Force ghost, but she does look like what a Nightsister ghost would look like, right?
Yeah. But it's weird because I don't think she doesn't die there, because she comes back physical form later in this arc to fix up Maul. So
yeah.
And we know she actually dies for sure, because in the Son of Dathomir comics, Grievous actually killing her for good.
There were several times where I wasn't sure of Talzin's fate, because there's also an arc in season 6 as well where she comes back, and I was kind of confused by that. Like, oh, did she die here? And then there was the son, like you said, there was the Son of Dathomir comics as well, where she definitively meets her end, which I wish we would have gotten that in an arc Clone Wars so bad.
We can still do it, please.
Yeah, Tales is something, man. Tales, just call it the Son of Dathomir and just make 4 episodes and make that the thing. You can do that with Dark Disciple as well. Or yeah, just bring back Clone Wars at this point. They didn't call it season 7 for the longest time. They just kept calling it the final season. We can change that marketing to like, if it is the final season, well, there could be multiple more seasons in between the final season, right?
Disney Star Wars already changes up so much anyway. They can do it here.
Dude, for real. Oh my gosh. Yeah, if they're willing to like change canon on all these different things, then yeah, at this point, surely just bring back the freaking Clone Wars. Like, yeah, for real. Yeah. My goodness. But we get into the end of this episode, and Ventress is, she's just kind of running through the forest. Talzin tells her it's over, and Ventress is like, where do I go? What do I do? And Talzin basically says, look, your destiny is always going to be tied with ours, but now you have your own path to follow. And it kind of just ends with like Ventress on her knees and like this intense music in the background. Shout out Kevin Kiner. And it just like pans out on her just kneeling down. defeated in the forest. And I just remember sitting there like, just feeling so bad for Ventress, because it's like, man, all she wanted was to get revenge on the person that betrayed her. She realizes that she can't do that, so she's like, okay, the next best thing for me is to just stick with my family. And now that doesn't happen because the same person that betrayed her has now ordered the massacre of all her people.
Yeah.
I feel so bad for Ventress.
She's for giving up her revenge on Dooku. She's gonna join her sisters and assumedly just live peacefully with them, or just chill with them. And then Dooku's like, hey, she tried killing me, I'm gonna wipe out her entire family.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny too, because you look at the story of Ventress, really her story is ultimately about tragedy, and that's why I love this arc so much. And if her story would have continued, yeah, it kind of goes back to what you were saying, like she tries to move on from all the Dooku stuff. But then if you read the book Dark Disciple, which I think is like my favorite Star Wars novel I've ever read, ultimately it comes down to her getting back into the fight because the Jedi want Dooku assassinated, and it's all about Quinlan Vos teaming up with her, and then it eventually leads to the two of them falling in love, and then that leads to tragedy for Ventress because Quinlan Vos goes over to the dark side, and it's just like, man, she really cannot escape this Dooku void, or this Dooku vortex that has just been spinning around her and just pulling her back in every single time that she tries to get away, or something good happens to her in her life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
which is also why, or if I can just move on to say real quickly as well, which is also why I think maybe that should have been the definitive end for Ventress. But I'm still willing to see where it goes if they continue it on with whatever they did with Bad Batch and whatever that's supposed to mean and whatever happens next. I'm willing to see. See.
I hope they do more with her in the future, because if they don't, it just seems like it was kind of cheap to just bring her back for one Bad Batch episode and then
agreed.
It's like, okay, you did.
Yeah. That's what I remember saying too at the time with the Bad Batch videos. It's like, look, okay, if there is a plan, which Lucasfilm even publicly had to make a statement because so many people were like, hey, Dark Disciple, what? Not canon anymore? And they're like, don't worry, guys, we're staying true to Dark Disciple. Just trust the process here. All right, well, we're trusting the process and we're waiting to see what you guys do. But so far, the only thing you've told us is that we brought her back into Bad Batch for the sake of, bringing her back and having her with Omega, and that's it. Like, there's got to be more to it. But so far, that's all they've told us.
It's been over a year since season 3 was finished, and we still don't have any news on upcoming projects, like to continue her story or anything else with that. Maybe they're going to do that for Celebration, but we'll see.
They have been really quiet when it comes to their plans for the animation division. So that makes me think that they might be cooking up something over there because we know of all the live action stuff, right? Like we got Andor coming up pretty soon. We've got Ahsoka season 2, the Mando movie. Like they've announced all that stuff, but nothing on the animation front. So I think Celebration is going to be like the big reveal of whatever they plan on doing next.
Yeah. And they even took a year off for Celebration. So I feel like this celebration is going to be crazy. They have to have like a ton of new upcoming projects, so much news and stuff. So we'll see. Yeah,
for sure. So overall, when it comes to this episode that we just talked about, again, I absolutely enjoyed it. It's probably one of the darkest episodes of the show.
And we'll see what happens with her in the next episode. So yeah.
Overall, I know you said before you gave this a 10 out of 10. This is one of your favorite episodes.
Yep. I can't remember where I put it on my ranking list, but I think it's like 18th or something on my favorite Clone Wars episodes. So
yeah, this is such an incredible episode for sure. But I believe, you guys, that is going to wrap us up for today. Next week, we're going to be talking about the episode titled Bounty. And I always get confused because there's an episode titled Bounty Hunters earlier on in the show. I think this one's just called Bounty. And it's an episode where Ventress has to team up with a bunch of bounty hunters. Some you might know, some you might not know. And yeah, that'll wrap us up for today. Orcaz, thank you for joining.
Yeah, of course, as always.
Yeah, so make sure you guys are liking this video, subscribing to the channel, share this video with others to help support the channel, and I will see you guys next time.
Hey, boss.
Boss, this is your boss.
You got a problem with that? My name's Boba. And this is High Singer. I see you've already met Bosk and Lads. What's your name?
I don't have a name.